This is Africa in 10 minutes. I'm Lillian Ojukwu. Stay tuned as we bring to you the top business stories reported on Footprint to Africa this week. Uber returns to old pricing model and expands into Ghana. I&M Holdings acquires Gyro Bank. World Bank approves $300 million credit to improve Ethiopian roads. Tanzania's economy on the rise. Nigeria teams with World Bank to implement social welfare program. Uganda hopeful as economy takes an upward turn. Nigeria struggles to regain oil profits. Botswana praises ecotourism. And Africa Prosperity Report shows little benefit to individuals in Africa. This week, taxi hailing service Uber is returning to its old pricing model after cutting prices by 20% earlier in the year. Uber cut its prices by 20% in South Africa in an attempt to proactively mitigate expected lower demands from passengers during the winter months. Uber also broke new ground this week with its expansion into Ghana. In Kenya, regional financial services group I&M Holdings has announced the proposed acquisition of all the issued share capital in Gyro Commercial Bank. I&M will pay 2.5 billion Kenyan shillings in cash and offer owners of Gyro Bank a minority stake in the share sell deal. Gyro Commercial Bank was established in 1997 following the merger of Commerce Bank Limited and Gyro Bank Limited. It has more than 100 employees that serve over 9,000 customers in 7 branches in Nairobi, Kisumu, and Mombasa. Now in Ethiopia, the World Bank has approved a $300 million International Development Association credit towards improving mobility in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and road safety throughout the country. The countrywide project will involve expanding the existing traffic signal and control system, improving conditions for pedestrians, and modernizing the operations in Ambessa City Bus Enterprise, among others. Now over to Tanzania. Tanzania's economy is slated to grow by 7.2% as efforts are made to implement measures to contain inflation for 2016. Finance and Planning Minister Dr. Mpango said the inflation rate will be contained to between 5 and 8%. Various schools, colleges, and universities, as well as health facilities, are also set for major renovations, while specific measures will be directed towards improving the business climate. Over to Nigeria. The government of Nigeria has teamed up with the World Bank to cushion the poor and vulnerable in the country's population by unveiling the first national security safety net system. It will contribute $1.3 billion of its own budget to the National Social Safety Net project. Each identified household will receive a base transfer of 5,000 Nigerian naira or $25 monthly, with the most vulnerable eligible for an additional 5,000 naira via conditional cash transfers. This week in Uganda, the World Bank revealed that Uganda's economy should grow by an estimated 5.9% by June of 2017. As a result of the country's private investment in major infrastructural projects. Uganda launched many major infrastructure projects, including motorways, railroads, power plants, a pipeline, and a refinery. However, Uganda's public debt is also expected to rise by 2018 as the infrastructure projects are financed with loans from China. In the oil and gas sector, Nigeria struggles to reclaim oil profits as rebel militant attacks on oil installations have cut Nigeria's production by 10% over the last few weeks. Nigerian production declined by 160,000 barrels a day to 145,000, while OPEC's total crude oil output fell to 32.71 million barrels a day last month, from a revised 32.83 million in April. Nigeria's production has fallen to the lowest in almost 3 decades. Kuwaiti production rebounded in May after a 3-day walkout by oil workers in April. Now over to Botswana. The nation is cashing in on the beauty of its land, making ecotourism a major part of its cash-generating revenue. Botswana's tourism industry is second most revenue-generating sector only after its booming diamond trade, with a per capita GDP of $17,700 in 2015. Wildlife and ecotourism in Botswana is said to contribute 4 to 5% towards the country's overall GDP. The Delta is now being revamped to feature solar-powered water mechanisms and water conservation initiatives. And finally, 2016 Africa Prosperity Report, published by the prestigious Legatum Institute, found that the average African is not benefiting personally from recent economic boom. South Africa is Africa's most advanced economy and is at the top of the general rankings of the 38 countries data was collected on, scoring high marks for entrepreneurship, social capital, and governance. Angola and Nigeria, two of the country's largest economies, were featured in the bottom half of the rankings, showing a pivotal failure to deliver prosperity to citizens despite their overwhelming economic growth and subsequent wealth. And that wraps up this week's top stories. We'll be back with a recap of the headlines. To recap this week's top headlines, Uber returns to old pricing model and expands into Ghana. I&M Holdings acquires Gyro Bank. World Bank approves $300 million credit to improve Ethiopian roads. Tanzania's economy on the rise. Nigeria teams with World Bank to implement social welfare program. Uganda hopeful as economy takes an upward turn. Nigeria struggles to regain oil profits. Botswana praises ecotourism. And Africa Prosperity Report shows little benefit to individuals in Africa. To keep up with the trending business news of the week, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and connect with us on LinkedIn. These news and reports are culled from Footprint to Africa. For daily updates and more business news in Africa, visit www.footprinttoafrica.com today. Footprint to Africa, business news made in Africa by Africans.